And now now we reversed. Now we reversed again. Let's hope it, uh-oh.
Oh, we're good. It'll come. All right, let's see who we got here tonight.
Well, when I put it out on the community page, it got like 185 likes or whatever.
All right, maybe we'll have one person's here. Hello, whoever that is.
Hello, hello, hello. Please just test. Can you hear us all right, both of us, Steve and myself? Well, it's been a beautiful day, huh?
I mean, a beautiful day.
I think this is across the country, isn't it?
Look at just the
activity,
diversity of people out there. Someone wearing pants for some reason.
Oh, we're wearing pantaloons.
Because we have to.
We're wearing pantaloons.
I'd be wearing shorts if I could.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, wearing shorts. Hello, everybody. We've got a few of you on now. As you know, we'll give it a few minutes. Say hello in the chat.
Hey, John.
Hello, John. Hi, Ed. Hello, Ken. How are you, Ken?
Something is not working with our HVAC, and it is very warm in here. So if we look shiny.
Well, I don't know. Since I look like Jason Bateman, I always look smooth as silk.
He's got this real Jason Bateman thing going on today, and it's really bothering me because I feel like I'm sitting next to Jason Bateman. I wish I was sitting next to Jason Bateman, but alas.
Just Shane.
Just Shane. But it's just Steven, and we make a good team.
And it's just, yeah, there you go. Well, in Friday's Buffalo News will be a long article about the artifacts. All right,
looking forward to it.
Yeah, looking forward to that. That should be, I had 2 days of interviews for that, and they took some photos. So, okay. Hi, Eben. Heavenrich. I love that. Eben Heavenrich. Hi, George from Tennessee. Hi, Kirk. How are you? Been having nice conversations with Kirk.
Nice.
Yeah, he's going to come up and volunteer, hopefully.
So John asked if I have any relatives in the Utica area. And not that I know of. So interesting story I'll tell real quick. My great-grandfather is the only Tedesco that we know that came here.
Oh.
That we know of. So and even though there are a lot of Tedescos in New York State, Niagara Falls has a big region.
Oh, good.
What was that? I don't know because he did have siblings, but we don't know if they ever came to the United States or not. So, yeah.
Hello, Yorktown. Hi, Kirk. Yep. Well, no, you don't need to buy a ticket. Kirk, we've been talking about working on our radio rooms.
Oh, that's something that.
Yeah, I want to get Sullivan's is not electrified right now. So Kirk and I, if you see his name there, Kirk Morrison. But I said the Croker's, the Croker has a radio room. And so I'm hopeful, Kirk, to.
Is that the Christmas tree room?
No. I mean, the radio room is just aft of the control room.
Okay.
The Christmas tree is in the control room.
Yes.
But I have a brother. Hey, John, I have a brother-in-law from Utica. So there's that. Okay. Hi, everybody. Let's get rolling here. We've got a few of you here. That's great.
I love Ken always keeping us on our toes.
The what?
Ken's always keeping us on our toes. Hey, Steven, random question. Any relatives in North Dallas near Plano?
Nice. Where is your national park? Eben, Heavenrich, national park. We have a bunch of state parks.
Well, we're not. If you're thinking that we're a national park, we're not a national park. We're a private, not-for-profit park shared with city park property. And
okay, yeah.
It's a whole thing, if that's what you mean. If not, please.
Just expand on that a little bit. Yeah, we're not like the We're not like the Cassin Young, which is attached to old Ironsides. They are a national park, and they have rangers on board and things like that. We are not a national park. The USS The Sullivans is a National Historic Landmark, and USS Croker is on the state and federal Register of Historic Places. And then the Little Rock does not have any designation as of yet. Anyway, it's got to be about 80 degrees in this room right now. Our AC is not working, as someone had said. So, let's see.
We got some questions. Evan,
did you write Steve Tedesco, maybe?
No, that's my dad.
Oh.
We need to clarify that I'm not typing from a separate account, and that my father, who also is named Steve Tedesco, is here with us tonight. Hi, Dad. You didn't know, that's quite all right, Evan. I'm glad you can add, we always love questions like that, so we can clarify. And
I try to clarify.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hi, Hulk Hogan's Tights.
Hulk Hogan's Tights. Bought some merch last week. Hi, Steven's dad. Ken, are there two different museums at the Buffalo Naval Park, ships and then the actual museum? There's two different entranceways, kind of, but it's all one park.
Yeah.
You pay one admission.
Yeah, it's all one park. Like you go to other museum ships, they have a museum building, and then you get led out to the ships themselves. Husky Studios, 10 more days until I'll be here. Great. Thank you, Husky. Michael, hello. Okay, so we're going to head right into the updates. I did a video. I'm trying to get that worked on and edited and things like that, so that hopefully will be released over the next day or so. But this will almost supersede that, so I still hope we'll get watchers, of course. But
yeah.
If you watch that video, it will be kind of similar to what we're talking about today, everyone. It's been a long, how many days now? It's almost been 4 weeks, maybe? Right, it's a Wednesday night?
Weeks.
No.
I think so. It's been 5 weeks, man.
Yeah, and we're all like not taking days off. And
that was
things
April
like that.
12th or 13th. It's May 11th.
It was, you're all right. Okay. So, updates. Now I've got a little handy dandy low tech. I'm very low tech. I'll even walk to the camera and show you this DC chart. All right, so when we get there. So
you know what? You're right. It is 4 weeks.
It'd be 4 weeks.
I don't know. My math is.
That's all right.
Feels like 4 months.
As we said, we're all kind of running on empty here. We take a day off, but we get calls, we get emails, because there's a lot of activity here. We still have Miller Environmental, we still have Bidco, we still have TNT Salvage. All right, so again, we're in that second phase. We are not in recovery phase anymore. We are in restoration, maintenance, and so where we are in the process is where I step in. The artifacts are being pulled off board right now. All of the artifacts not inherent to the ship itself. And they're putting in the triage area, and you'll see that in the video when it gets released over the next couple of days. And then they are beginning to clean. So Miller Environmental has the contract for that. We have identified areas of serious cleaning needs, and this doesn't preclude the volunteers. I mean, they're doing a steam cleaning, indirect steam, about 170 Fahrenheit, 170 degrees Fahrenheit,
indirect. We did post a picture of that on our socials too, if you wanna.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
And myself and Courtney posted some, yeah.
Okay, did you actually get in the ship?
No, posted them cleaning it with the steam.
Gotcha.
On the outside.
Oh, on the outside. Oh, yes, right. Okay. So, they are now, here we go. Okay. Forgive me, everybody, but so what we're looking at here is the DC chart. All right, we are on the first platform right here, and they are starting in these, oh, this is so low tech. They are starting right here. All right, this is our second division berthing. This is S division berthing. And this is, where is it? E division berthing right here. So these three compartments, they are beginning to clean. So all that, since those were mostly berthing, all of the bunks have been removed, all of the mattresses have been removed, and they started this morning cleaning 2nd Division, cleaning S Division, and cleaning E Division. All right, and then what they will do then is they will move to the forward part of the ship, say on Friday or Saturday. So we're cleaning, again, this is the first platform. Second platform, the first platform, everybody, is pretty dry up front. All right, because, you know, as it's sloping up, it really didn't get a lot of water intake except for these 2 areas right here, which unfortunately is the ship's office and the engineering's office. So there were some artifacts in there that were original to the ship, all right, that were definitely submerged underwater for all that time. If we head down to the second platform, what we're looking at here is mess deck and then the berthing here. All right, so then they are going to concentrate on these areas. We're going to pull off all of the artifacts, and then they're going to start with mess. They're also, let me see, make sure I got that right. Oh, sorry, mess deck is right here. All right, and then the 2 berthings here, and then this is the scullery, pots and pans. The steam line is there. Our auxiliary diesel is right here. And so, but they will be cleaning all those areas. I just misidentified them. There is, that right there is the mess deck. So again, they're starting right back here with the berthing spaces. Then they will move forward to these areas here on the first platform and definitely down to the second platform. And then they will tackle the middle. All right, the 4 engineering spaces. All right, I'll bring Stephen back. All right. So please ask questions or anything that you got.
We have a question. How were the breaches in the hull were patched to stop the leaks? They were wood plugs?
Do they mean before the incident or anyway? So what we would do is how apropos, if that's the right word, which it is not, but I did a video in like March of how do we patch holes on the Sullivans. And then, of course, many of the responses were not well, because that was the question. You know, I put it in the question on the video, how we patch holes. So we gave the 3 ways we patch holes. We have the winter patch, we have a summer patch where there's only 1 diver, and then we also then have the full where there's a guy inside and outside. So we would use rubber gasket, aluminum plating, bolt it together, tighten it down. If not, then we would have a magnet. All right, so we'd use some vinyl, slap a magnet on there. Right now, they're using the 2-part epoxy rubber material. All right, and they're also in one area, which we will talk about in the future, they're using cement, which is interesting.
Okay.
All right, but that's just 1 3 or 4 foot space that we really think, was a major cause, a major chain in the link, as we've talked about, a link in the chain as we've talked about before. And again, as we move through this and we continue to recover, we'll hopefully put out a video talking about all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Once some investigations are underway, because we got to investigate what's really going on and what really happened.
Yeah.
So
I think that brings up a good point too. Is that over the past 4 weeks, as we've been talking and giving updates, and if you guys have questions that we haven't answered or that you think of when we're not live, definitely reach out to us on YouTube and ask these questions. These give us ideas on videos to make. We want to be sure we're giving you guys the content you want. So we love the public forum thing that we do here. So, Shane made a good point. Like, questions get asked, and
yeah,
we want to be able to answer them in videos.
Absolutely. And this is just kind of what happens in this situation, right? We spent $350,000 last year, I think. I'm not the bookkeeper, but it was about $350,000 of the $1 million that we raised last year to have the work started on the hull. And then, so a lot of people have been questioning, what did we do with the money last year? Well, there you go. We hired a company. They spent 3.5 months working on the 150 feet on the port side. We spent $300,000 or $350,000, and
as the work continues, the money continues to get paid.
Absolutely.
So I know that's a concern that a lot of people have asked, and that's a question. You guys have donated money, and that's a valid question, and the money is being spent on what it was raised for. So.
Yes, so we're still getting some questions. What type of lamination? Hulk Hogan's tights. Hello. I don't know. The Coast Guard did it. All right, so I gave them the DC charts, as we talked about a couple of weeks ago. I gave them the books from the Sullivans from 1951. They blew them up, digitized them, and laminated them, but I do not know the machine they used. Probably an industrial machine, because as you can see, this is quite a large sheet. This isn't something our laminating machines here would do.
We have a couple questions about the cement, but first, Steve Cole says, we sincerely appreciate these updates. Thank you.
Hi, Steve. I talked to Steve today on the phone. That was great. Hi,
awesome.
Steve.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for the kind words, Steve. So a couple questions about the cement. Cement is in glue or cement is in concrete?
Oh, got it. Thank you, Michael. That is a great question. I don't know. And what they are doing, they just keep calling it concrete. So, of course, my brain just goes to, like, cement concrete. But there is also that, like, cement that's like a glue.
Right. Yeah, like model planes. Obviously, we were not using model plane glue, but it could be that type of cement.
It could, And Bidco just keeps saying we're using concrete. So I would actually think that it's actual concrete. You're pouring it, you're mixing it, and that is for one particular area, and that gets to Ken. Was the cement used to address the major breach you discovered? That is the area where they're putting the cement. And so they're building a block, all right? And it's covering, we have a lot of wireways in that space. I think it's the forward fire room. We have a lot of wireways. If you look on the hull, there's about 9 feet of cabling, right? And they're all separated out, so it looks like floors to a building, if you can get what I'm saying. And it's right behind that. And so I think they're blocking it with cement. They're protecting those wires right there, and that will sink into that breach and solidify, and that will be, we're assured that it's not porous, so maybe it's not concrete, I don't know, and we haven't been able to see it. But I'd like to...
Rubber cement, as Steve brought up.
Right, rubber cement.
Yeah.
Right.
So, let's see, are these repairs considered somewhat permanent, or do you still need to come up with a different plan long-term?
Jason, thank you for the question. Do you want to...
Sure, yeah, these are semi-permanent plans?
Semi-permanent,
something like along those lines. There will be things we have to do in the future, for sure, and that's going to be something that we will have to, any of these old artifacts, old naval vessels need preservation throughout their lifespan. So this is something that we feel will help in the interim until we can figure out what it is that we do, whether it's dry dock or a cofferdam or something along those lines. These are not like, we're not going to play catch up. We're doing something that will long outlast the next solution. So there won't be, we won't be in a position, I don't believe, to be rushing around when we get to that step, 10, 15 years, whenever that might be. Sooner.
You're talking with the epoxy.
Right. The epoxy would outlive the next step in its preservation. So,
yeah. I agree. That was the plan. The original plan was to dry dock as, maybe you've seen comments on YouTube, I'm saying $4 to $6 million, $4 to $5 million. But it would cost probably $700,000 just to move the little rock out of her nest to get the tugs, to get the Sullivan. So, and also we can't stress enough, or I can't stress enough, that if we tried to dry dock her before this plan, some experts have told us, like tug experts and people in marine companies and tug companies would say, given the condition of her hull, she might not even make it to dry dock if we tugged her.
Right.
So we had to do this 2-part epoxy. There's also, again, now everything's kind of on the table. There's other products like a steel guard. There's the 2-part epoxy that we're pretty happy with. But this will give her 10 to 15 years life, as Stephen was saying. And then that will give us time to raise that $4 to $6 million, which by then probably will be $7 or $8 million, right? So this was the original plan in February of 2021 when we started the process because we noticed something was going wrong with the Sullivans.
Hulk Hogan's Tights says, I thought cement on the hull was very bad.
It is very bad. And it's also some museum ships actually like put it in their holds and things like that to protect that. We're not doing that. This is going to be like a 4-foot block of cement that is supported, and it's going to be going through a wireway into that area of serious degradation that we saw a couple of weeks ago. So it's just in one spot, isolated, contained, and again, that should give her the protection, and then they'll put the epoxy on the outside, and that should give her the protection that she needs for that particular area until we can get a steel plate on that or something. So that's pretty low to the hull, they said, or they're low to the keel, and it's in that real area of degradation with all those wireways and cableways. So it's that.
So we got some questions coming in, some good ones. Eben wants to know why we like the Sullivan so much. So, you want to both answer?
Go ahead.
There's a great story behind the Sullivans. As many of you are aware, the Sullivans is the only ship named after more than one person. It's named after 5 brothers who all went to war together and all served aboard the USS Juneau together in World War II. That ship did go down. All but 10 survived?
Out of 689, I think, yeah.
I'm sorry, all but 10 perished. 10 survived. Yeah, I said it backwards.
Yeah, right.
So that's a story that's rare in our history. With these 5 brothers, and their motto was "We stick together," which is a motto that we continue to this day. That they were going to do this together. That story, I had recently spoken to someone who served on the Sullivans, and they had served on a few different vessels, and they said that there was nothing like serving on the Sullivans, and that the Sullivan story is what united them. And even when people would come off and go on and be
transferred,
right, they automatically just connected. And I think that speaks a lot for that ship. I think it speaks a lot for that family. We're lucky to have members of that family who represent them still and can continue their story. It's if you don't know the story, there's a lot of information out there about the 5 Sullivan brothers, and Saving Private Ryan is loosely based on the Sullivan brothers. There's a movie, The Fighting Sullivans, about them. Which we do sell in our gift shop, I believe.
Yeah, we do. The 1944.
Yeah,
they really pushed that out quick.
Yeah.
I think it was 1944.
So yeah, it's got a unique story behind it. Of course, we honor everybody who served, everybody who's passed away. And sometimes stories get bigger than other stories. That doesn't take away from anybody else, but there's a lot to take in with the Sullivan brothers. And again, I encourage you, if you don't know the story, there's plenty of information online about the brothers and about their sacrifice, and it's just it's an American story. How about that?
Yeah, absolutely. And they like to say that even though no American family has lost as much as the Sullivan family has in terms of killed during combat, the ship represents everyone who's a Gold Star family. So.
Yeah, and Kirk actually says, for me, it's because she stands for all the Gold Star families that didn't get their boys back. John, are there any World War II veterans that served on Sullivan still around? Yeah, we had, I had mentioned, I'd spoken to one, it was about 2 weeks ago, maybe. They came here to come see her, and we got to talk to them and get some oral history on video, which was it's important to us to get that oral history. And here, you can only learn so much in books and textbooks, but to hear it from the men who served, from their mouths and their stories, you get so much more. It's not just a plot point, if you will. It's you get to hear their life experiences. So, yeah, and I know that there has been other crew members of the Sullivans that have reached out to us during this, and yeah, so there are quite a few still around.
Well, let's make that designation. As John said, World War II veterans. This guy you spoke to wasn't a World War II veteran.
No, he was not. You're right.
There are very few, if none, John, that I know of. We have a nice long videotape of them, about 7 hours, being interviewed in 1999, I think it was. But yeah, to tell you the honest to gosh truth, if there are one or two out there, we just don't know it. So, George Mendonza, the Kissing Sailor, he served aboard. He was a helmsman aboard. He recently passed, and he was like 95. So, as we know with World War II veterans, they're kind of, how that goes.
Right. So George says Navy violated policy to have them together. Is that completely true?
George, that is completely true.
Yes,
yeah.
It was policy in place at that time.
Correct.
Okay.
Everyone says there's the Sullivan's law.
Thank you, George, for that. Yeah.
Everyone says there's the Sullivan's law. No, there was already a law in place, and there's interesting interviews with the guy who stamped it to give that final say to, let them stay together. And he stamped it, and so of course, there's some interviews out there that I don't know if they're public, but you can see them, and, he talks about the anguish over that decision. But again, you're just stamping things, you don't think of it at the time.
John says we know of less than 10 World War II Slater vets. Have you gotten to speak to them, John? Like, have you guys been in contact with them at all? Leaping Dog says, let's make the Naval Museum.
Leaping Dog?
The showpiece of Buffalo. Let's move the museum and ships to the outer harbor.
Leaping Dog, hello, thanks. Your handle's not familiar to me right off the top, but...
Edmund says, have you been to Fort Stevens State Park?
No.
Glad to see the Sullivans is back up. All right, guys. So we're trying to get back a little bit into how we were before the Sullivans crisis incident.
The incident.
John F. says, yep, I gave a tour to the quartermaster in 2019.
Wow.
He also came up when we returned from dry dock in 2020.
That's fabulous.
That is great. That's great to hear.
Yeah, that's great.
One of the things that we used to do, or that I used to do, is I would go on Today in American History and try to find something that relates to our park in some way. So I did that today. I came up with a great naval situation, which takes place around the Battle of Hampton Roads. Okay?
We're going way back.
Way back. March of 1862. So this is during the American Civil War. The CSS, not the USS, the CSS Virginia, was the first steam-powered ironclad warship built by the Confederate States Navy during the first year of the Civil War. She was constructed as a casemate ironclad using the raised and cut down original lower hull and engines of the scuttled steam frigate, the USS Merrimack.
Oh, yeah, right, okay.
The Virginia was one of the participants in the Battle of Hampton Roads, opposing the Union's USS Monitor. The battle is chiefly significant in naval history as the first battle between ironclads.
Yes, okay.
So today being May 11th, it does have significance with the CSS Virginia. On May 10th of 1862, advancing Union troops occupied Norfolk, Virginia. Since the CSS Virginia was now a steam-powered heavy battery and no longer an ocean-going cruiser, her pilots judged her not seaworthy enough to enter the Atlantic. Virginia was also unable to retreat further up the James River due to her deep 22-foot draft. In an attempt to reduce it, supplies and coal were dumped overboard. Even though this exposed the ironclad's unarmored lower hull, this is still not enough to make a difference. Without a home port, no place to go, Virginia's new captain, Josiah Tatnall III.
Those names back then, I tell you, that's so interesting.
Reluctantly ordered her destruction in order to keep the ironclad from being captured. So,
yeah,
kind of don't give up the ship type of mentality there, right?
Or scuttling, right?
Right. So this task fell to Lieutenant Jones, the last man to leave the Virginia after her cannons had been safely removed and carried to the Confederate Marine Corps base at Drury's Bluff. Early in the morning of May 11th, Fire and powder trails reached the Ironclad's magazine, and she was destroyed by a great explosion. So she was scuttled. She was purposely sank, if you will, by the Confederates. Okay, only a few remnants of the Virginia have been recovered for reservation in museums. Reports from the era indicate that her wreck was heavily salvaged following the war. So,
yeah, that's interesting. So we got a couple interesting comments from Kirk.
Yeah. All right. So
and Blue, I can't even see that. Blue Rebel?
Blue Rebel.
Oh, Blue Rebel 01. Thank you.
The Battle of Ironclads happened 15 minutes from where I live. CSS Virginia and the Monitor. I knew it. I grew up in Virginia. I passed Virginia history. Yes.
It's a different history down there, no doubt about it.
A couple other questions going back to the Naval Park. If you guys have any other questions about
that's interesting. So today was the scuttling.
Today was the anniversary of the scuttling.
Just like the USS Grenadier. All right, SS 210, which is what we honor out here with our torpedo. They scuttled the submarine in World War II, and because they were going to be captured or sunk, so they scuttled the ship. They were all put in a POW camp, and 4 of the crew perished in the POW camp. And you know, all of the states, 52 boats were lost in World War II, 50 states. So New York and California share 2 submarines as memorials, and then all the other states have 1 sub that they memorialize, and then that equals the 52. So Western New York is the USS Grenadier, SS 210, and then the memorial for the western part of the state is here at the Naval Park.
Yeah. John says, any idea of the range for those old ironclads? Not off the top of my head. I can definitely look that up for you, though. Virginia had a good day before fighting the Monitor to withdraw, sinking the USS Cumberland. We love our Virginia history.
Yes, John, you're right. Boy, I'm really getting lost here, but that's all right.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, we got George.
George. 2 ships have been named for the Sullivan brothers. That is correct. So the DD-537, which is a Fletcher class, is here. And the USS the Sullivan's DDG-68, which is an Arleigh Burke class as well, which is currently active. And
yeah, and that's where I got the idea for the battle flag. So I had a 4x6 Gold Star flag made, 5 Gold Star flag made, because I saw pictures of DDG 68, and that's the one that Kelly Sullivan christened. Her great grandmother Alita christened our vessel, and we share that in common. That we're the only 2 ships that can fly the 5 Gold Star battle flag, and theirs is beautiful. Of course, it's, you know, probably, I don't even know how big, 15 by 30. I mean, it's a huge, when you see a picture of it, it's huge. So yeah, but thank you. So let's see.
Well, I'm glad people like the little history.
Yeah, oh, well, sure. Yeah, thank you, Kurt.
My family arrived in Virginia in 1609. I love Virginia history. Yeah, it's actually kind of what I got into. The whole museum business was American history.
No, yeah, yes, you've been clear in saying that that's what your first love is American history.
American history, yeah. 13, maybe my dad could help me out with this one. We went to Gettysburg, and Antietam.
Yes.
And that was it, game over.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So really it focused, you know, potentially around the Civil War a little bit, but that was the start.
Yeah, and I love 18th and 19th century American history. It's fascinating. I just finished a fantastic book on Ben Franklin, which we know the old Ben Franklin, and this book really covered his entire life and really got into detail of his teen years and his 20s, and it was like, it's like learning about a whole new person.
Yeah,
and,
interesting.
Yeah, yeah, so, okay, we'll go, enough of me.
Thank you, Steve. Please mention Little Rock Working Party. That is correct. It is on for next week. If any of the old salts are watching from the Little Rock, the Little Rock Working Party will be here May 16th through the 20th. So there's that. Thank you. Michael has a nice comment. We can.
Yeah, so we have back-to-back comments actually. That
Oh,
is
yeah.
from Ed and Michael.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
For Michael and Ed, you are absolutely correct. Kelly Sullivan has called for an investigation, which is normal in this situation. The investigation, I believe, is ongoing, right? I mean, the ship has been down. Now she's back up. There's still a lot of work going on, and that's fine. And we are okay with an investigation. We can prove where the money last year was spent for the company and the bidco, and the 300 or 350,000 that I mentioned last year. So there's a lot of different investigations, right? Where did with investigation about the money, right? Well, we can prove where the money went. Investigation about what happened on the ship. Is there fault that comes from an investigation of that? I don't know, but just like what happened, what was the chain, the links in the chain that caused the ship to go down? So there's multiple investigations. We're not sure which one you're speaking of, but I mean, all of those things will occur.
I could speak for myself, and I'm sure that there are people here at the Naval Park that agree with me, if not everybody, but I don't want to speak for anybody else. But the ship, we all work here for a reason, and any investigation into the ship is welcomed by me. And if we made mistakes, we need to learn from them. So, yeah, we understand the concern. That's part of her family. That's something that I would imagine she treats as a family member. So why wouldn't she request that? So I understand it. And like I said, investigations help us learn from past mistakes, from present mistakes, from everything. And I have a lot of faith in the way this place is run. So yeah, I mean, if anything, it's going to teach us to be better at our jobs, because we are, we don't know everything. We certainly don't. It's pretty evident from mine and Shane's talk show, or whatever you'd like to call it.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's an emotional situation for everybody involved, and it's something, and it's something that has to be discussed, right? It's
Hi, Hoist.
So, yeah, I think that, I mean, at least I can say that I truly believe that we have nothing but the best interest for the Sullivans at heart.
Yeah, absolutely. Hoist, thank you. I don't know, we were on at 8 o'clock. Thanks for being here, though. Lowbrow stuff. Uh-oh. All right, I took it she was looking for, I don't know what, was that the Virginia stuff? That's low-hanging fruit with the, okay, I took it that she was looking for answers as to why the ship was neglected so long.
Yeah, I mean, that could be a reason too. I don't want to speak for Kelly. I don't want to speak for her, so we can't really answer that question. She has her concerns, and rightfully so. She's allowed to have concerns, and I mean, I don't want to speak on her behalf, because that's not my place to do that, and I'm pretty sure you agree.
Yeah, right, right. But if that is her response, there will be an investigation as to why that occurred.
Yeah, absolutely. There was something up there. It's just a suggestion: installing some webcams at the Naval Park where people can log in from home might be a nice thing and cheap to do. That actually is something that we're discussing and looking into. So stay tuned. We are definitely working on that.
Yep. I would also like to thank, I know John Epp was here. Thanks again, and we will have you on at some point. I really want to thank Barry. All right, Barry was here from the Slater, electrical engineer. There's been a lot of discussions here, long meetings about energizing the ship again and what form that should take. And as a National Historic Landmark, following the preservation guidelines from the Department of the Interior, which we do, we have decided that we are going to re-energize the ship again from her panels in the engine room, which will then lead to the aft engine room, which will then lead to the forward engine room. and then bring the power back the way it was 30 days ago, which was she was using her own power. There was a lot of questions and a lot of meetings about should we just install a new electrical system completely? And we thankfully decided against that. But this now means that her main panel was underwater, and Barry from the Slater, fabulous guy, and his wife Roseanne, executive director of the USS Kidd, they were here for one full day, 24 hours, and they really gave us a tutorial in their thoughts and ideas and their professional opinions, and can't thank Roseanne and Barry enough. So we're going to energize her again from her panels, but that's going to take some time. We're looking at 7-8 months down the road before there will be power back on board, and then probably just fully next year until anyone can get on the ship, to the inside of the ship, probably next season. So there's still going to be a lot of work being done with her.
All right, so Scott says, does the Little Rock have a DPC, data processing center, computer room?
If there's a DPC room specific, I don't know it right off the top of my head. They have a lot of computer rooms, certainly for the gun control. We talked a little bit about the Mark 111. Scott, you mentioned that in a comment on YouTube. But if there's something that says, oh, I got to go to the DPC to get something, if that's the actual name of a physical space on the ship, I do not know it. So, I don't know. Is Brendan around?
Yeah, Brendan, we need your help. John says, Barry's probably our first volunteer that signed up when the Slater came to Albany 25 years ago. Great guy, knows a crazy amount of ship electrical. Glad he's helping out. Yeah, when we discussed this before we went on about his background, his experience, and
Barry?
Yeah. George Washington. Right?
Oh, yeah. He was the engineering
sounds
chief
like
engineer.
the best of the best. So
yeah, he got the Slater's electrical plant up and running within a year, and then he's been working there ever since with John. And his knowledge is just second to none from what we've met. And so when I was talking to him, I said, "How do we find a U in Buffalo?" Right? So he said, "Well, you can go to UB or something like that. The University at Buffalo." I guess that rules out okay, Matthew, let me correct that. The article is correct. We are going to try to reopen on Memorial Day weekend. That just means that the Sullivans will not be available. All right, so the museum should open again. The Croker will be open. The Little Rock will be open, just not the Sullivans. So don't misread the Sullivans for the whole park, meaning next year. What I mean is it will probably be next season before people get into the ship itself. But the Croker, the Little Rock, the yard, the museum up here will be open at that point.
Right, and we really don't have an idea though about when the Sullivans can be reopened, right?
Yeah, these are just the time frames we're bantering around in meetings and stuff. I mean, I don't think it's anything that I shouldn't be saying, but
oh no, I didn't mean it that way.
Yeah.
I just meant we really don't have a pinpointed.
We don't. We're expecting, Barry was mentioning, it's, with the damage that you have incurred, you might be looking at 6, 7, 8 months away before you can get electricity full back and get her electrified again. But,
so when will the park
yeah, Kirk, absolutely, sir. Thank you. Both radio rooms on Croker. Little Rock has the radio association here, but for the Sullivans, we'd love to get you up in the 01 level to get to the radio room. The main deck has the secondary radio room. So,
Brendan to the rescue. There isn't a DPC, so to speak. Mark 111 feed its data directly to weapons control about the missile house.
And we're going to cover that. Yep.
The ANSPW2 would take the solution from the 111 to set and intercept points for the Talos. Thank you, Brendan.
Yeah, well, that is absolutely right. And we mentioned the Mark 111, and Scott had asked about that. Yeah, so there's the CIC, there's, the gun plot room below it, there's the Mark 111, there's, if you watch the APG-49, there's all of those computers in those two spaces by the gyro compass, so.
And he adds a little to it. The SBS 10 and 43 radar would be read and CIC.
Yep. Would be red.
Oh,
yeah,
red,
would be
sorry.
red and CIC.
It's one of those damn English language words.
I know, the English language is so complex. It is.
Does the air temperature inside the Sullivans heat up without ship's power and airflow?
Even with power and airflow, it heats up.
Right, asking without.
Correct. Okay. So it will absolutely heat up again this season, right? Okay. Is that what, if that's what you're meaning, Michael? Yeah. So it will be hot down there even without. But we've got so as they're cleaning, as Miller Environmental is cleaning, and what they're doing is they're doing indirect spray and using this. I don't unfortunately know the name of it. Eco Green, I think, or Eco Clean. So it's an environmentally friendly cleaner. They're containing it within a compartment, and then they are actually removing the water that hits the deck directly into their own tank. So it's not going anywhere outside of that compartment. It gets pulled out into a tank. So that is, all of the debris, all of the contaminants. If any paint flakes off, it's going right into a tank that they will then dispose of at their property.
So John says, I feel you, Steven. I forgot how to spell color the other day and had to ask an intern for help. Getting old sucks. Yes, it does.
You could also spell it C-O-L-O-U-R.
So I used to work for a Canadian newspaper for a while.
Well, there you go.
And we had to go through a training on how to speak Canadian, basically.
Interesting.
And color was one of neighborhood, which is very popular in classified ads and advertising. Etobicoke. I made that mistake once. I called it Etobicoke.
Oh, that's what I would say too.
Yes, it is Etobicoke.
So the K-E at the end is silent.
Silent, and I was called out on that by the person I was talking to.
And have you ever seen their potato chip flavors in Canada?
Yeah, like ketchup, all dressed.
Oh yeah.
So when we would have people come,
I'm jealous.
When people from the newspaper would come,
they'd bring
us all the goodies like Kinder eggs. Right, so we have like our own version of Kinder eggs. But they have like legit ones that were like banned in the U.S. It was like a whole thing.
Oh, interesting.
But they would bring us like ketchup, potato chips, and different
dill,
snacks.
Pickle,
different snacks that were only available in Canada.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, we had to go through a whole lesson on how to basically speak Canadian. Postal expiry. You can't say expiration date because that in Canada is your date of death.
Oh, when you expire.
When you expire.
So it's expiry?
So in Canada, it's your expiry on your credit card.
Oh, expiry. Thank you. Yeah. How interesting. Okay, Hoist, you're coming in late. You're hitting the head. The park will reopen on Memorial Day. That's the goal now. All right. We have a lot of moving parts. We still have the Coast Guard, Bidco, Marine, Miller Environmental, TNT. All right. So and us. These four entities are trying to work in conjunction with our timelines, their timelines. So we're shooting for the museum, the yard, the Croker, and the Little Rock to be open on Memorial Day. The Sullivans, we're actually trying to make a plan to where there'll be a really nice engagement of the Sullivans as you walk along the starboard side of the Little Rock. All right, so we talked about that with Roseanne from The Kid. To build in a tour route where you can walk along the profile and point out the Mark 37s, point out the 5-inch handling, point out the 5-inch guns, pointing out the Bofors, the Hedgehogs, all of that stuff. So we're kind of really working on that to be ready for Memorial Day too. So Memorial Day, sir.
So George Newman says to date how much water has been pumped out of the Sullivan since recovery. It's about 800,000. Is that accurate?
I don't know.
See, I
would say 200. I've heard 270.
I've heard it was gonna there were some estimates in the millions before we knew what was going on, and before we started pumping. I don't know where. Maybe I dreamt that. I don't know. But I think
I haven't heard anything but
like
270, 280. But if you've heard that, then there you go.
Again, I don't.
Yeah, I don't know. If you've heard it, someone you heard.
George, we're going to update these numbers for you because we haven't done that in a while. We'll update these numbers on Twitter tomorrow. I want to give you accurate information. I don't want to give you. I'm looking at the TV like he's at the TV. I want to give you accurate information, George. So look out for that tomorrow on Twitter. We'll have an update with those numbers for you.
Yes, because 250 and 800 is some discrepancy. So, so we obviously don't really have that information. Okay.
We'll be able to board the Sullivans and hoist my ensign and jack for me.
I'm missing that. I don't know where that is.
Hoist.
Yes, at some point we won't have to wait the year. Of course, being on the main deck is a little different than having to go down below. All right, so that's something we're still working on. But to go onto the Sullivans itself, just on the main deck, just hard hat and rubber boots. To go in, you need to harness and you need to Tyvek suit. So there's the difference. I've done it a couple of times. I don't know if anyone else has.
I have not been inside.
You've not been inside. You've been on, but not inside.
Fantail, and that's it.
Yeah, I might be the only staff person that's been in. I'm trying to remember.
Shane, remember when I reached out about hedgehog fuse caps? Found an original one with within our collections, and we had some replicas made and installed on some of the hedgehogs.
Yeah, John, thank you. I know. I saw the pictures, and certainly Slater Signals at some point. I don't know if it was the most recent Slater Signals, but those look primo. We had ours made.
Primo?
Isn't that a word?
Yeah, it is. I just haven't heard it.
Primo. I mean, those are.
In a while.
Those look beautiful, John. I can't say how jealous we are. We had ours manufactured, but I don't know who did it. I don't know when.
Well,
but
he's gonna try to remember to get the plans and coordinate and sending us the mold.
John, thank you, John. That would be fabulous. Y'all tired? Absolutely, Kirk, and we're not,
Yeah, we're not denying that.
Yeah, we're not denying.
Andrew, Andrew, boo, he's booing. Are you booing me because I didn't have a picture of you tonight?
No, I just think he's saying boo like I'm here.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe. Hello, Andrew.
The Sullivan's fully pumped out. So
no.
You want to explain that one?
Yes,
and why it's not fully pumped out?
Oh, I don't know if I have the reason why we're not fully pumped out, but we are honestly, it's about 98%. So what we have is we have the Miller Environmental on the inside beginning to clean. We've got Bidco working on the outs, strengthening on the hull, working on the hull. We saw some welding going on port side, and they're just doing their thing. There were divers in the water today. So. But if I'm not in the meeting, I don't really know what they're doing. You can visually see it. I bet you we're at about 98% pumped out. And so again, they're patching, then they're getting the pump in.
So does any of the water that's still in there have anything to do with the list itself and balancing the ship?
No. And now we're getting back to the levels to where we were a year ago, 2 years ago, where we know where everything is. We pump them out as the emergency pumps go on with the floats. And then that will be sealed, and then she will be, I think, pretty good. Once the two-part epoxy is covering the 4 feet of the splash zone, and then they foam on the inside that same 4 feet at the splash zone, and then go down spot weld or spot plate, puts on some blanks where needed from that bottom of the splash zone down to the keel.
Yeah, so we got about 7 minutes left. If anyone has any more questions.
Kirk?
So I just want to bounce off something you said is that, Shane and myself are not in every meeting. There are quite a few.
We're in enough.
We also have a park to run, and we do have to focus on a lot of those things as well. We can't neglect our responsibilities. It's part of the reason why we're here a lot right now, why we're working even when we're home, or at home, or at the campsite, or
that's you, man. I'm not home anymore.
So we're not in every meeting. We do try to get you the most accurate information out there, and if we don't know, we will definitely get the information for you that we can get. George made mention I somehow got made the person reporting updates on the Sullivans to several YouTube channels over the last month.
Thank you, George.
Thank you, George.
Thank you for spreading the word. Where's Robert? We're sharing some more Little Rock videos coming. Yeah, I would say yes to that. We are going to be working on weapons control, which is above the missile house there on the overhead and the deck of the missile house, which leads then, Scott, down to the Mark 111 computer. So we got to get back to that. We just don't want to be a YouTube channel that gives updates on the Sullivans, right? Right. There's been a lot of engagement.
Of course, we want to be able to give you guys all the questions, and your passion and concern for the Sullivans is we're very gracious about that, but you know, we, like I said, we do have a park to run, so we want to make sure we're not neglecting everything else while we do that. Yeah, and it's difficult, but it's something we're on for the task. Is that?
Yeah, I mean, there's other things
for the task. See,
we're on for the task. We're on. Yeah, I mean. Come on, Mr. Tedesco. That's the. Yeah, like right now that the park, that was one of the updates for people that are local or coming to visit. The gate presence, the security gate presence has really shrunk in footprint. And now you can kind of walk about 150 feet of the Sullivans, and then you got to cut around to the street. So the gate footprint, the security gate has really shrunk its footprint. And today, Paul, the president and CEO, was asking me about the flags in the Memorial Garden. Like, they haven't been changed. They were up all winter. And he's like, yeah, I'm noticing a tear here or there. And so I'm beginning to catalog those and get new flags for the Memorial Garden. So we have to put up the large rotary flag that we have. We got to get our 30 by 60 up there. So yeah, we still have other work to do besides what we're each doing. You know, Steven's working on the encampments. We have an encampment this weekend. So besides, my work is still mostly with the Sullivans and the artifacts and getting all of those things, and that will be in the video that you see. But we'll also have a video of the Little Rock and getting back to that. So,
all right, couple questions, good ones here. Sherry, you talked about investigations. They aren't suspecting foul play, are they? I don't think that's. No, I don't believe so.
No. Yeah, the investigations, no, there is no foul play. There were some early questions because some of the footage from that day it happened, there were some hatches open, all right, but that has already been explained, that the fire marshal, you know, told Andrew to get off the ship immediately, and to secure the ship would take about 20-25 minutes on a normal day, and so he was told to get off because she had a 25-30 degree list. So but no, there is no more thinking of foul play, and that gets back to the USS Ling. You know, when she sank, there was some talk about there was some sabotage there, and then they did the investigation and found that there wasn't. So
good question right here about the Little Rock. Is a lot of the equipment still on board the Little Rock, or was most of it stripped out? It's a great question.
Who is asking? Oh, Matthew. Thank you, Matthew. A lot of the equipment is still, I mean, there's so much equipment on board. You can say that in both ways. You can say there was a lot of equipment stripped, but there's still a lot of equipment on board. And so what they do is they're red tagged though, all right? So they cut the wires, they cut the electricity, they cut power, and so they're tagged and they can't come back, all right? So that's the thing. But, you know, one of the biggest things was them removing some of the gun computers for the USS Wisconsin in 1988. To either use on board or as a training computer, or to use for parts on the USS Wisconsin when they were bringing the Iowa classes back in the 80s. She was the last one to come back. So,
real quick, we are gonna start wrapping up right here. But
hi, Dale.
Thanks
Hi,
for
Chris.
joining us.
Hi, Chris.
Chopper73 from Perth, Australia. Thank you.
Whoa!
Yeah.
What time is it there now?
Converted it to
miles.
Miles for us.
That's nice.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chopper73. Thanks for being here and for your interest. That's great.
Yeah, I'm curious, Chopper, what time it is in Perth right now. I know it's tomorrow.
Oh, wow, that's a good one. it might even be 24. I don't know.
I don't think it is, but I think it might be close to that.
I missed the first. Sorry if you discussed it. Did you talk about the volunteer plan? Thank you, Dale. Thank you. I do have that on my list. I didn't get to it. All right. So very quickly, we've had about 25, 26 volunteers that have signed up, which is fabulous. I mean, we could get a lot of work done with 26 volunteers here that are all coordinated. So coordination is the key. All right. So I've mentioned there's other companies that are here that are pushing our timelines for the staff because they have certain timelines that they want to meet and have to meet. So Brendan, who's also on the chat, is coordinating those 25, 26 names. He will be getting in touch with you. And then probably what we're looking at is, depending on what you want to do, is when you guys would come. I think I've gotten is it the right word, tacit? I think I've gotten the tacit approval to, if anyone is from out of town, to stay on the Little Rock. You know, they can use the heads, the bathrooms. We'll have a little restaurant guide for you that you can follow, and some directions to some restaurants.
I heard we have a restaurant here.
We do have a restaurant here. Yeah, it's the Liberty Hound.
You might be able to hear them right now.
Yeah, it gets pretty loud down there, especially in the summertime. But so that is the thing. Brendan's on it. He's getting the names as they come in from the form that I asked you guys to, if you were interested, to fill out. And then we will kind of coordinate that. So people interested in artifacts might come in a week or a week and a half. People who are interested in doing some cleaning or the radio work on the Sullivans, or if you have another expertise on a certain area, that might be 2 months away. So I don't think we'll bring all 26 people together all at once, right? But we will work with you individually. We now have the clearinghouse, which is the important thing, of interested people, because we want your expertise. If you're going to bring that, we want your elbow grease. If you're going to bring that, all of it.
So where Chopper is, it is 9 a.m.
Oh,
so I was thinking going east, but it's probably on that side of the line where you. No, I don't know what I'm talking about.
Sorry, man. You know
it's 9:01. So we're.
Oh, interesting. It's like a 12-hour way. Thank you. Thanks for waking up.
We were way off.
We're a morning show.
We're a morning show in Australia.
Yeah. Thank you.
Welcome to the morning show with Shane and Steven.
Get a cup of Joe and ready to start your day.
Welcome to the 800 watch.
Yes, the 0800 watch.
Yes.
Very good. Or 0900. Oh, well, it's 9 o'clock now. Okay, that's right. I got it. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. I think that's about it.
Yeah,
that's about it. We got our notes here. Webcams, updating on the gallons removed. We didn't talk memberships.
We will.
Oh, we did a little bit.
We did.
Saying that we haven't been able to build the content yet.
Yes, we did say that.
That's right. So,
real quick, next week we won't be on.
Correct.
So we did decide after the 28 and 28 in February that we were going to do every other week. We went back to every week during the Sullivans incident. We might still, we don't know what we're going to be doing, but next week is, we won't be able to be on next week. So tune in to 2 weeks for another live show. But definitely, we're going to keep you as updated as possible every day. And Shane's going to make some more wonderful videos for us.
I'm going to thank you, and you do a wonderful editing job, so it's always appreciated.
I dabble.
You dab. And then Lauren as well, and
our new intern Devin.
Yeah,
so Lauren
we got to engage her a little bit, and then I'll have my intern from the University of Tennessee coming up in June. So yeah, we're getting back to it, but thank you again for all your support. We really appreciate it, and I hope you have a good day in Perth, and we hope you have a good night in America. Are we ready to roll?
I'm ready to go home.
Ken, this is your time to shine now, all right?
I know.
Okay, thanks everybody.
Thanks. Oh, good night, Cash. Go to bed. I almost forgot to do that.
Yeah, okay, is it user 5?
User 5, bud.